Alongside Jesse Sampson, Rob Lewis, and Brett Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the Rocky Top Roundtable. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope everybody has got their belly full and ready for some football on Saturday. We'll start with Tennessee offensively. Jarrett Garantano's show as he and those wide receivers continue to peak at the right time.
Well, it's interesting. For the first time in what, Rob, Jesse, 2 months, we're not talking about who are they going to start at the quarterback position. This is Jared's show. It's back to his show again after a 400-yard performance at Missouri, where he obviously played well and got great help from his wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say this is what we expected to see, because I don't think anybody expected it to be throwing for 400 yards. But I mean, this is what we thought we would see coming out of August. I mean, just the fact that it was his football team, the fact, you know, him getting it to the three best offensive weapons at Tennessee's disposal, and that to me is the biggest, you know, reason that Tennessee has to get good quarterback play is because the best weapons they have are a receiver, and if you're not getting at least sound play under center, you're just wasting them.
I mean, Jim Chaney kind of previewed this before the season. Now it's taken 11 weeks to get to this point, but he said in the preseason that he thought, to Rob's point, the three best playmakers on the team were on the perimeter. So how could they kind of get those guys involved? They were going to have to lean on the passing game, especially with some uncertainty at the offensive line and questions about some of the dynamic ability at the tailback position. It's taken its time. You've seen Juwan Jennings have some huge games week in and week out. Callaway's had his moments, Josh Palmer too. But this is the first time I think it's really kind of culminated and coalesced where these three guys were just spectacular together. And they made some fantastic catches like the one Josh Palmer just made, and JG threw some just absolute dimes.
Like this one.
Yeah, like this one, and it culminated into, you know, a 415-yard performance from a quarterback who'd only thrown over 200 yards 6 times in his career before Saturday.
The one thing I've been most impressed by, you knew what you would get out of Juwan. Marquez obviously has flashed, but this guy right here, this is back-to-back games for Josh Palmer. You go out to Kentucky, I thought that was his best moment of the year, and he topped it Saturday with a couple of catches like that, against Missouri. I think Josh Palmer, I was higher on him than some coming into the season. He had not performed as well. But the last 2 weeks, he's performed kind of how I thought he would emerge.
Well, and I think it all comes together. I mean, there's all parts of this that you got to intermingle, if you will. We talked about it last week on the roundtable. Could they protect well enough where JG's eyes stayed downfield? Okay, if you're going to throw the football to 3 different receivers, for over 100 yards, you're scanning the football field pretty well. You're seeing the field well. I think that's a result of good pass protection. He got hit a couple of times. I get that. But for the most part, the pocket was good. The pocket was good in the second half against Kentucky. I think that helps JG a good bit.
You also noted earlier in the week, Brent, that one thing that Jarrett did much better on Saturday than he'd done, especially the entire season, was throwing the ball between the numbers in the middle of the field. It wasn't just the Juwan Jennings show across the middle, which he's been the yak king for Tennessee, but Marquez Callaway had an opportunity to take a slant and get 15 extra yards. Josh Palmer had a chance to gain some extra yards after the run. Those guys are obviously the power forwards. They can go make the jump catches, but Tennessee needed to incorporate the middle of the field more, and they did that against Missouri. I would expect that to continue against a Vandy secondary that's not very good.
Good quarterback play for Tennessee. Vanderbilt, they've been musical quarterbacks all year too. That's where they're, probably they're going to struggle the most. So they expect them to lean on their senior tailback, Keyshawn Vaughn. And, Tennessee had a tough time tackling him a year ago. And Vanderbilt, with the potential for rain Saturday, it would love to be able to just hand it to him 25, 30 times and see if Tennessee's defense can, slow him down.
Well, and I think that's the thing, Rob. You just can't let Keyshawn Vaughn get going. You can't give him that home run play to get him started, get him going.
I mean, I don't want no disrespect. This is a bad Vanderbilt football team. I mean, Vaughn's a good player, but even with him, they're the worst rushing offense in the SEC. And the only team in the league averaging fewer yards per carry than Tennessee, which at 3.4. That can't throw it, don't score. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, Vaughn is the key. I mean, I don't know that you look at that Vanderbilt offense and see anybody that that scares you if you're a defensive coach.
Here's a stat Tennessee under Jeremy Pruitt has never been a favorite in an SEC game. They've now won 4 times this season as an underdog. Won twice, obviously last year, top 25 wins over Auburn and Kentucky. But to Rob's point, how bad is this Vanderbilt team? Tennessee's never been a favorite under Pruitt. Tennessee is a 3-touchdown favorite on Saturday.
Yeah, well, and it's a Vanderbilt team that Austin is having so many struggles. Back to Tennessee's run defense. 4 of the last 5 games, Tennessee has not given up a running play of 20 yards or more. The only ones they gave up were to Kentucky. They gave up 4 in that game.
And a lot of those were broken.
I would contend 3 of those were drop-back runs, scramble around, backyard football plays, not a direct handoff, not a true running play. This defense has been really good about limiting the big play on the ground. I think that's a key for Saturday. Again, Vaughn's yards doesn't come in bunches. He gets it in a big long run to get him going. Tennessee's got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Because Tennessee's a 3-touchdown favorite, I didn't want to focus as much today on X's and O's and want to focus more on kind of the job that Jeremy Pruitt and the staff has done to get Tennessee back to, having a chance to win 7 football games. I mean, I think, if anybody thought they had a chance, when they were 1-4 to make a bowl, they probably thought they'd have to beat Vanderbilt to do it, not be going in there trying to get the 7th win against Vanderbilt.
I think it's a remarkable coaching job. And give the kids credit too. I mean, obviously, but the kids have to buy in. Sitting there at 1-4, I mean, it looks like it's going to be and we all thought the same thing, like it was going to be a death march to get to this point in the season. And instead, here they are, chance to win 7 games, get to a bowl game in Florida. I mean, if not for Ed Orgeron, I think you can make a strong case for Jeremy to be SEC Coach of the Year.
Yeah, Jesse, you pointed that out on our drive back from Columbia to St. Louis Saturday night. I mean, if it wasn't for Ed O, Jeremy would probably have the best case of anybody.
Yeah, again, the turnaround's been pretty stunning. If you told Tennessee fans after starting 0-2 that they'd have a good chance of getting to 7 wins, I think they'd laugh at you. If you told them starting 1-4 and just getting completely taken to the woodshed at Florida when they seemingly no-showed and had, to date, I think this season, their least competitive performance, to bounce back. We've heard a lot this week about kind of this, post-Florida meeting. Whatever was said in that meeting did seem to eventually translate. It did not obviously come with success the very next week in another 3-touchdown loss to Georgia, but it has culminated since then. And this is a team that both the coaches and the players, especially the senior group that's going to be honored on Saturday, that has taken a bunch of hits and a bunch of scars over the years. But Nigel Warrior, Darrell Taylor, obviously Jawan Jennings, Marquez Callaway, that group, Daniel Batuli, they did not quit. They could have easily packed in the season, and on their backs, Tennessee has responded remarkably and has a great chance to go to either the Outback Bowl or Jacksonville.
Brent, they had the sign up in the complex, never again, with all the scores of the Floridas and Georgias and Alabama games last year. We talked about it, it should be never again against the teams that you struggle to beat. Tennessee's run the table against every one of these teams that they've struggled to beat for the last 5 or 6 years or longer, being Missouri, being South Carolina, Vanderbilt, or not Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt's coming up Saturday, but they should have a really good chance to do that as well. It's been impressive to see them kind of finally flip the script in these series.
Well, and I think what's been impressive about it is that they haven't won. They've won some ugly football games, and there's been some times where the game could have got away from them in the fourth quarter. When you fumble the football twice in the last 2 games, you have to have a goal line stand. Your defense gets you the ball back at Missouri, and then you put it away that way. It's not been easy, yet this team has found a way, which I think is, to Jesse's point, is a great credit to the kids on the team. I think the plans have been good. But this team has committed to a 60-minute fight. They've committed to playing complementary football, bailing each other out, if you will. Jesse was mentioning some stats earlier. Here's the biggest one of the biggest ones to me that jumps out about why I think this team has been successful. If you would have told me in August that Tennessee was going to give up less yards on the ground this year than they did a year ago, and they had lost Emmett Gooden, and they weren't going to play with Daniel Batuli for a couple of games, and they were going to play a true freshman at linebacker in Henry T. I don't think I would have believed that. I thought Tennessee would have such a hard time stopping people on the ground, but they have a chance to finish with a better rushing mark defensively and stopping the run in year 2 than they did in year 1 with all the newness they've got up front.
That's a great stat, and that's with the group too. You mentioned Emmett Gooden, but that's with a group with a couple guys that are playing in the NFL right now. Kyle Phillips and Shai Tuttle. They played an immense amount of snaps a year ago, so we didn't know what to expect from a guy like Greg Emerson. We didn't know how some of these JUCO transfers, like a Darrell Middleton, has really come on. Aubrey Solomon, while he may not have the dynamicism of being a 5-star, he has been a nice player for Tennessee this season. So that group has really come together and been probably the most improved unit on the team this season. And
you've gotten really, nice contribution at times from guys like Matthew Butler have stepped in and been able to make some plays.
Bumpus.
Yeah, Bumpus. Again, credit to the entire staff for getting the most out of a lot of these kids and just continuing the development. So it'll be Tennessee and Vanderbilt coming up 4 o'clock on Saturday. It's the home finale. We hope everybody's had a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy time around the family, and we'll see you on the General's Quarters a little bit later. For Jesse Salmonton, Rob Lewis, and Brett Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the Rocky Top Roundtable.